Yeah, I'ma kill you in a second if I have to. Use my mind as a weapon when I blast through. Put the basics in the base.
All right, guys, welcome into the show. It's episode 7. We've got Richo back. What's up, Richo?
Hey, guys.
Yeah, Tom. Thought he was dead.
Welcome back after a couple of weeks off, mate.
I'm a bit sick of listening to you for a little bit there. To get my break from you.
Oh, God. Yeah, you can try. I'm on a roll now.
Episode 7. We're on the flashbacks today, boys. We're going back and asking ourselves, what advice would we give our rookie self, knowing what we know now back then. So travel back in time, have a look at yourself sitting in the corner. It's your first week in the gym. What kind of advice are you going to give yourself? Richo, it looks like that might have only just been yesterday with that baby face. What do you got? What would you tell yourself?
Mate, so are we going for what? How many bits? 2 bits of advice each?
Yeah, let's just kick off with one and we'll flow from there.
Don't be greedy, mate.
Probably my first bit of advice to myself, my rookie self, would be stay the course. So what I mean by that is it's going to be tough. Like in any profession, starting a new business is tough, but especially in the PT profession. So just not like knowing that that's what I wanted to do. And obviously at the start, it's tough. It's not easy when you start, especially like I didn't have this sort of advice or these sorts of plans or layouts or anything to follow when I first started. So I wasn't doing all the right things. So you get to the point where it gets tough. You struggle for money at the start. And I started to second guess whether after a couple of weeks of not much income, whether this was what I was supposed to do. I guess now if I could look back and go, you know what, just this is what you're supposed to do. One of the best bits of advice I ever heard, one of my favorite speakers is a guy called Eric Thomas. And he's
a preacher.
He says, I dare you to put 50 hours into something and then have it not work. So pretty much put 50 hours in for 12 weeks. And then if it doesn't work, then you can fucking quit. But to put in 10 hours a week for 12 weeks and then go, you know what, this just didn't work for me, is just horseshit. So for me, it's a cop-out, exactly right. So stay the course and put in everything. And if after 12 weeks it's not for you, then go, okay, you know what, I did everything. Just there's nothing worse in life than wondering what if. So I'm so glad that I sucked it up and I got my head straight and I did keep persisting, because since that point I've been doing it for 10 years and I haven't looked back. Nice. So stay the course. And if you think it's for you, and you're obviously, you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't think it was for you and you weren't passionate about it, stay the course, put in 50 hours a week for 12 weeks. And then if it doesn't work out, then you know what, then you can think about walking away. But if you've been doing 15 hours a week and trying to be about that entrepreneur life where you can show people that you're at a cafe on your laptop and you're at the beach every day because you live in the fucking life, and then you quit after fucking 6 weeks because you're not making any money, then fuck off. Stay out of the profession. Put in the 50 hours. If you believe it's what you want to do, put in the time. And then if it doesn't work, then you can. But I guarantee if you put in 50 hours a week for 12 weeks, you can't not fail. Yeah,
great advice. And of course, grab that accountability spreadsheet so that those 50 hours are productive, eh?
Correct.
So that's from a previous episode. If you didn't catch that one, guys, hit us up after the show and we'll get you that accountability spreadsheet and make sure that the 50 hours of work you're putting in is relevant and will yield you a result. Yep. Mm-hmm. Nate, there you are sitting in the corner. You're at the lunchroom. You walk in.
Fuck. Like, what would you tell yourself if you could look back on stuff you did? I mean, more than anything, there's going to be a lot of mistakes of, I wish I never did that. I wish I took this course. I wish I did that. But for the most part, the reason why I think many of us are successful or have done better is because we either stayed the course and learned from our mistakes, or because we just lasted longer than anybody else. So like some of my success is because I didn't give up, and some of my success is because other people did. Because when other people leave, they leave businesses behind, and those businesses need to be looked after more often than not. And I mean, I don't like the terminology "don't quit" and whatever, because at some point everybody throws in the towel on something. So I don't like the whole "don't quit" thing. But I don't like the whole, this is just not for me, when really, you're just throwing it in because it either got too hard or this wasn't what you thought it was going to be. You thought it was going to be easy. You thought it was going to be, I don't have to have a university degree. I can earn a high amount per hour, and this is going to be what I do.
And that can stem from as well is people get into it because they love training, and they go, you know what, well, I could do this for a career. And they think that that's all it is. But like we talked about in the previous episodes, you're a salesman, you're a businessman. There's more than one component to their profession. So
not just a training buddy.
A lot of people don't realize that until they get into it. And then they go, fuck, well, I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to run a business. I don't want to do books. I don't want to do all this shit.
And I don't really know if there are, especially as young as we were when we got in, I don't really know if we fully accepted that responsibility. I for sure didn't. Like, that you've actually got to do some work and kind of look after things, because a lot of people want that security, want that employment kind of security blanket, but they also want to say that I earn X amount per hour. So it's a really delicate balance in this whole subcontractor kind of deal, where you want to feel like a big boy or a big girl and that you're running your own business and like, yeah, I'm looking after my life, whatever. But at the same time, you also want that security of, I'm not succeeding because of it's Fitness First's fault or it's Go Health Club's fault because they're not giving me the lead. So it's a really delicate kind of balance to play. I mean, the whole don't give up and stand the course of time really does matter. At what point do we say that, you know what, this game isn't for you, you should throw it in? It's certainly not fucking 6 months in.
Yep.
It's certainly not that soon. I mean, if you want someone to model some stuff off, I think Gary Vaynerchuk said this as a quote I heard, and we're only using these because they're relatable and other people can go find them, is that, you know what, you're sitting here complaining about something you've been trying for 4 months at. You've been trying for 4 fucking months and you're complaining that it's not working. Fuck off. Like, literally, I get it. I get that it's hard, but you're not the first person to go through it, and you're certainly not going to be the last.
Yeah, even the biggest overnight successes didn't happen overnight.
I definitely agree to that to some extent, but then there's sometimes like the time's a tough one, because if you do 6 months of fucking 10 hours of work a week, then like I fucking agree. But if you've been doing 4 months of 70-hour weeks trying to do it and you just can't fucking do it, then you know what? Maybe it's not for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I certainly, like, the time thing is a different one, because I definitely feel like depends how many hours you're putting in. Because some people, when they first start PT, go in, do their gym floor shifts, which, if you're not aware, normally when you start at a new commercial gym, you get a free rent at the start period, but you've got to be in the gym for an allotted period of time, say 20 hours a week. And people rock in, just do their 20 hours a week, and while they're there, I see so many fucking new people, they're in there for their gym 4 hours. So let's just break it down and say it's 4 5-hour shifts. And for 3 of those 5-hour shifts, they're sitting in the fucking PT room, hiding from people, going, oh, I don't know why my business isn't getting better.
Yep.
And then that's all they do for fucking, like, to me, like 6 months of that, like, yeah, of course it's not fucking
taking the piss.
But if you're out on the floor for 60 hours a week, every week, and you're still not cracking it after 6 months, you know what? Maybe it's fucking not for you. So as much as I understand what you mean like that, but I definitely think the amount of hours you put in each week matters, because, do you know what I mean, doing fucking your minimum gym floor shifts, which is 20 hours a week, sitting in the back room for 10 of that for 6 months is very fucking different to putting in 50, 60 hours a week every week for 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're actually giving it a red hot crack.
That's yes.
Now, keep in mind, something to add to that is that, you know, the good old saying that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice does. So you could be doing 60 hours a week, but if you're not doing 60 hours of shit that's going to improve your position, then you probably not, you still 60 hours a week won't necessarily result in the outcome you're looking for, right? So based on that, the advice I would have given myself would be just to slow the fuck down. Everything happens in due course. You can't sort of get to where you want to be overnight. Find yourself a mentor, and I'm not saying it needs to be the oldest guy in the gym or the big dog in the gym. It doesn't even have to be anyone in the gym. It has to be someone doing now what you want to be doing in the future. Okay. One of my first mentors wasn't even in the fitness industry, but at least it gave me insight to the sales and the business side of things that I will ultimately need at some stage. But again, I'd give that advice to just slow everything down, look at what you're trying to do, look at where you're trying to be, figure out the systems and the processes you're going to need to get there, find the tasks that are going to give you that result, and then apply that to your 50, 60-hour weeks. Then hold that course for 12 to 16 weeks straight, and then a bit further past that. Then I think what you would find there, then it would be really hard to fail if you put all those things into play.
Yeah.
What's
I think
your
the mentor thing is something that's overlooked greatly, whether it's a mix of pride, whether it's a mix of not fully grasping or understanding the benefit of a mentor, like a legitimate a mentor where you attend that session with that person as frequently and with as much gusto as you expect your clients to attend their PT sessions. Yep. So it's not having a chat with someone and them giving you some favors. It's I'm locking down an hour once a week, every Tuesday, 11 a.m. I'm meeting with this person, and we've got a structured process we're going to go through during that time that then I have to go and apply it for the next 7 days until I meet them again. Yeah. So a legitimate trainee mentor relationship. That's what I'd go back and talk about anyway, or that's what I'd go back and enforce on myself for sure.
It's not a bad idea. It's how do you go about with your guys, like structuring the whole mentor thing in your system?
Well, especially for the club trainers, it's a requirement. It's once you come on board, we're meeting for that hour once a week. During that time, I'll be reviewing, or let's say from day one, it'll be setting particular tasks and goals that need to occur. Discuss the strategy of how they're going to go about it based around their hours and what they're going to be doing in the club. We don't have a paid hourly rate for our club trainers. We'll go through that on another day, but we don't do that model. Basically, it's around the model of you don't sell, you don't eat kind of approach. When we meet up again a week later, the first things we sit down and go is, here's the task we set last week. What were your result? Great. What did you do to get that result? Did you do this? Yes or no? And then we adjust accordingly or kick them in the ass accordingly. It depends on, what the ultimate outcome was. String enough of those together on a weekly basis with the extra bits of information that I send through or influences here or some information there, then it's up to them really. Knowing that they've got that support and guidance there, if it's a sink or swim situation, it's on them.
Yeah, okay. Do you guys have that mentor set up at your place, Richo?
Nah, not at all.
Nah, see.
And I think that's different to different commercial gyms. Look, most commercial gyms will have a PT manager. It's always, PT managers are always a interesting.
I think we had a bit of a chat about them, didn't we? The PTM.
They're like, it's rare to find a good one.
Yeah, it's.
And if there's any PT managers listening to this and they go, I think I'm a good one, fuck off. You're probably not.
Yeah.
Like,
look.
And if you are, inbox us and let us know what makes you.
I probably think Mooney's talking like a mentor, relying on your PT manager to be that person. Like the guys at Mooney's club is very lucky because obviously Mooney gives.
Are they though?
Well, he obviously cares passionately about helping the industry. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. So obviously the guys that go to his club get someone who actually cares, but that's 1 in 100 clubs that have that. So I think what Mooney's more talking about is a mentor either within the personal training staff at the gym or someone else outside of the circle, but having someone to help teach you these things that we're talking about.
And someone that's not going to copy your excuse. How come you didn't get this? Why didn't you pick up X amount of leads this week? Oh, because bullshit. You just didn't do the job. Simple. And they're not. That's why I was fortunate. My first one wasn't in the fitness industry, so he gave zero fucks about typical excuses or typical stuff. He's like, he doesn't know whether there's X amount of members in the gym. He just knows, did you do these tasks in the allotted time? Yes or no? You did? Great. What result did you get? Why not?
I think that's probably when we're talking about advice to your future, your past self, your first novice self. I think a big one for me, and I think this is more a reflection on society now and more a life lesson rather than this, but just take responsibility. Like, no one fucking takes responsibility anymore. And like, I was young when I started. I was 18. I certainly fucking didn't take responsibility, because who likes putting their hand up and going, I fucked up? No one fucking does. But the sooner you can learn to do that, I guarantee you the faster you will fucking succeed at everything in life, not just your PT business. And to me, that's probably one of the biggest things I do. It's like, you have to fucking do A, B, and C to get clients. We talked about spend time on the gym floor, make the phone calls, give out complimentary sessions, be a good gym, instead of just going, oh, the gym doesn't fucking look after me. The PT manager didn't give me enough leads anymore, or they're not doing. Take responsibility and go and get it yourself. Bug the PT manager every day until he gives you the birthday lists. Talk to everyone on the floor until they're like, you know what, piss off, I'm sick of you talking to me every day. I'm trying to have a session. Do you mean? Take responsibility and do the work yourself, and stop trying to blame it on everyone else why you didn't succeed. And that's a big thing that probably at the start, I was, again, young, 18 when I started, and 18 in life in general. Again, no one wants to put their hand up and go, like, it's different for us right now, because, like, I know Nate, we're all the same. First one to go, yeah, I fucked up.
Yep.
But I definitely know my 18-year-old self would never have fucking said that.
I didn't do that.
Never.
And I guess another part of that is asking others from the outside looking in to review you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that you know that sometimes maybe you don't think you are fucking up. Sometimes
that's where the mentor comes in, yeah.
Yeah, or mentor, even just on a day-by-day basis, other trainers around you. If you've got your mentor that's...
Nah, don't you dare do that. No way.
Let me rephrase that by saying ones you value.
Fucking not even then. If I took advice from 90% of the dipshits that open their mouth to tell me something, I would be a junkie on heroin living the street. Literally, the amount of retards that float around a gym claiming to know stuff is staggering. To somebody else, I'm one of those retards.
That's interesting. I love the different perspectives we have from the different facilities we've been around, you know, and that's probably a fair call, Nate, and probably representative of the large population of PTs current and gone from the game, probably experiencing it.
Right. And that's definitely because what do we say? The industry average is 12 months, and what do I see? A good life in 7 years. 250 personal trainers. So,
I think you're on the right. I think you are on the right track. You're on the right track with the mentor thing. So, like, I would almost blanket it a little bit there with pick your mentor or your mentors as like plural, like one or two in the collective or whatever. Maybe it's different areas, and literally that's your knowledge base for as long as you need them. And I would be there, because I've definitely listened to advice from more people than I should have. And I literally made a conscious effort about probably three years ago now, to when I start learning stuff, whatever it might be, I'm learning from 2 people this year alone, and I'm maybe changing it next year. Yep. Like that's it. I'm not going to like all the different courses anymore. Like I did all that, and that's great, and I learned a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of left on the table and didn't apply. I'm only doing courses from these guys this year, and I'm only reading shit from this person. I think that's smart. I get that everybody's smart. I get it. You're all clever. But I'm going to listen to this person and absorb all that shit, and I'll come to you in 2019 maybe, and then we'll do some business.
Yeah. So speaking of the business thing, while we're on the mentor, again, I was fortunate. Mine was free. Didn't have to pay anything for that, because they gave a fuck. They wanted to see a young fella improve and grow and have some wins in the game. Today, it seems if you look around, most want to charge something. And that's where we come back to previous episodes. And I'm sure we're going to have some future ones where how to screen that person, how to know whether they are worth their shit and actually worth paying money for. So most mentors, in my experience, are more than willing to do it at no charge, if it's the right person for you, you obviously have to make some sacrifices for that to happen, though, and that is to fit around their timetable, which means sacrificing some shit at times.
I think the landscape is a little different now in terms of not only the mentors that are available, but also the kinds of clients that you have coming to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and this is not me saying you're old as fuck, Mooney. You're not, but you are. So there's a lot of people who are wanting to give information, but there's just as many, if not more, wanting to receive that information as well.
Sure.
So I suppose from a credible mentor's point of view, like someone who maybe makes a living at this or takes seminars and stuff like that, they want to make sure that the people attending their seminars or getting information are either qualified to get it or are going to action the information, so they're not kind of speaking for the sake of speaking.
Sure, so I'd categorize them as a coach. I'd categorize that as like that's what they do for their living, I guess, to qualify. And you're right, though. Mentors these days have changed and can change.
I mean, look, if I will happily give out some advice and stuff for free, but if someone's going to come to me and want me to do, hey, I want to grow my business to this, but it's here, can you help me out? Yeah, I can absolutely help you out, but this is what I'm going to need you to do. Not only action, but I'm going to require some skin in the game.
Very cool.
It's just how it's going to have to be, because we had this chat the other week that I don't really believe that free information gets actioned on all that much.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's a leverage of time thing as well. Yeah. So if they're first off in the game, because we're still talking about these early days, hey, if you've got the coin behind you and you did what we said in those earlier episodes of setting yourself up with a bit of financial backing, then great. Find one that's, that does resonate with you. And if you've got to put some cash on that, then fair call. If you can find yourself one that's as motivated for your success as you are, but they're in the position to be able to do that without charge or with very minimum charge, then fucking fantastic. If you're really fortunate, you might find one that needs some PT, exchange services,
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. My tip on that, I guess, is just don't go for the one that has the best Facebook marketing or the biggest flashiest packages. Go for someone that's doing what you want to do and has some sort of you resonate with them at some level.
Yeah, it's probably a fair call. I mean, not giving up, finding someone who's going to show you the ropes, accepting some responsibility for all of this. And I feel like it has to be said that because we've done this for so long, we can kind of come across as with the big sense of urgency and, this is your checklist for the week and you got to do this and then let's review it next week. There's a very big aura and a very big pressure to kind of get this right in the way that we talk about this stuff. I think the biggest thing that matters at all this is that you're actually just trying to be better rather than maybe getting better straight away, because we certainly didn't. And I know how we talk and we make it sound quite straightforward and easy. We get that it's not. And I believe that a lot of people hear some of this stuff and maybe like makes them uncomfortable because, these guys are so good and I don't feel that way and I'm not like a big business person. Neither are we really. I don't really classify myself as very good at business. But the fact that you just want to get better and that you action the fact you want to get better is going to lead you places.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that desire, that drive to be better.
Yeah,
and that's in all aspects of it, business, training wise, everything. And that's even now to this day. Still, like Nate and I attended a course 2 weeks ago on the weekend. Like work 5-6 days a week, then go to Brisbane for a seminar all day. Then Nate backed up another one, spent Saturday, Sunday up in Brisbane again. So it's just that as long as you're wanting to be better and you're trying to be better, then don't be so hard on yourself. But you've got to be trying to learn something new every day or trying to improve a little. Just try and be a better version the next day than you were the day before. If you do that one day at a time, then by 3 months, you're going to be doing pretty damn well. But it's the people that just try and get to the basic level and just go, sweet, I know enough now. So now I'll just work my 20 hours and then I'll spend the other 148 hours of the week at the beach and doing whatever I want to do and not giving a shit about getting better, you're not going to last.
Dude, it's funny. We come back to this a few times, is that do with your business what you're trying to tell your clients to do with their life. Little improvement, day after day after day. Set yourself a goal, short term, set yourself a goal further down the track and just keep working towards it. It's funny. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got stay the course. We've got slow everything down. What else we got to, what other bits of advice would you give?
Nate?
What is there really?
I got it. Move away from cash PT.
Okay. Good idea.
Direct debit systems have never been easier to set up.
Richo, you got any thoughts on cash?
None that I'm going to air publicly. All I will say is that look, I know a lot of the boys will use different ones, but I use FFA PaySmart. I find they work well for me. A very efficient system. I can set it up and I can access everything from my computer, so I can pause payments. I can do everything that way, and it was definitely the best decision I made when I put my business onto direct debits. I wish I'd done it earlier. It's one of those things where I guess you take it for granted. Is obviously not that you're trying to get as much, like, it's not all about the money, obviously, because we're obviously trying to change lives and help people, but you will definitely, the retention of clients that pay through direct debit as opposed to cash is definitely a lot longer, because they don't notice that they're handing it out every single week. They're not going to the ATM every week and physically seeing that money come out. There is definitely a big difference in the longevity of cash clients as opposed to direct debit clients. And just for obviously legitimizing everything too, because it is very hard nowadays to get a loan. So especially if you run your own business. So if you're looking to get a house or set yourself up in that sort of way, or look, there's no right way to do life. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, if you get a loan for a car, you're a fucking moron, because there is no right and wrong way. People do things for different circumstances. And I hate people that sit there and go, oh, what a dickhead, he took a loan for a car or this and that. Because I'm not about that. If you want to go on holiday. If you want to get a house first, get a house first. If you want to get a nice car, get a nice car. But to set yourself up to be able to open yourself to all these doors, they're going to need 2 years worth of substantial evidence that you earn an income that's sustainable. So the best way to do that is through a direct debit system where you can, and it just, when you go to do your books for tax purposes, tax time, it's just so much easier when you can just go onto the website of FFA PaySmart and just print off your history of your income. So much easier. Save yourself a world of headaches and then just make it look more legitimate to the tax man. And like I said, because as a small business owner, it is tough to get a loan. It is tough to prove that you are making a decent income. So not only in longevity of clients and keeping your business running, but to be able to move forward with the things you want to do in life, it's very important to go on the books straight away.
I think a lot of, as we've sort of discussed, a lot of people entering this industry, it's their first time playing business. You know what I mean? It's their first time as not being an employee, so to speak. So the temptation to go from cash from client to spending is going to be there. And again, talking to Rookie Mooney, is get them on DD. Yeah. Get the cash in your hand out of it. Put it in there. Treat it like it's a boss paying payday. Don't touch the cash. Give yourself a set payday, fortnightly or weekly, monthly, whatever it is. Get that system working for you. Take your tax out of it so you don't have to freak out about that at regular intervals throughout the year, and play with what's there as your salary component, not what's total. You know, so again, stems all back. Get it on that DD. It automates a lot of that. And as Richo said, there's easy reports to find. These days, it's even easier. I mean, again, Nate, showing my age, is that it was all paperwork filled in. If they want to make a change, you have to fill in another form, then call them up.
Smoke signals back then, wasn't it?
Chipping away on stone tablets.
Those check things, they got to stamp.
He had pigeons. He had those pigeons like in the medieval days of the castles. Hey, Now you got my brain flowing a little bit. So I'm going to add to this real quickly.
Good. Welcome back.
First and foremost, we're not accountants. We're actually idiots. So obviously, talk to your accountant in regards to if you want to do cash in your business, whatever they want you to do. Talk to your accountant. Don't ask us. We'll just send you them anyway. On that point, talking more of the financial stuff, the thing I would have told myself to do earlier, not do, but more stick to, because I didn't stick to it, was decide at least how I want my business to run in the beginning in terms of how I want to operate with clients, package prices, minimum length of training commitment and stuff like that. And then obviously stick to it and know it. So here's a question I ask a lot of new guys. If I walk up to you, Mooney, on the gym floor right now and say, I want to train with you 3 days a week, I want to pay you up front for, let's say, 12 weeks. It's a pretty standard thing. How much is it?
What would I charge for that?
Yeah, as an example. So I get that you're not on the gym floor. This is why I'm using you. Let's say you go, oh, okay, that's $3,000 straight off the top of your head.
Go $3,000.
$3,000 total package price. Cool, fantastic, done. What do most PTs do? Hey, dude, I want to train you 3 times a week. How much is it?
$60 a session.
Yeah. So basically what happens is if you can't tell me your package prices in terms of not how much the session is, but the total investment amount, like how they sell you a car, you're not running a business, you're running a Balinese market stall.
Dude, I agree. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I'm a big fan of that. Take shit off the hourly rate and look at the end result.
At the very least, know how much it is for the month. So I operate. I do minimum 3-month terms or minimum 6-month terms, and it is X amount per month. At least for the very minimum, know that, because you need to be able to rattle this stuff off. Because I don't actually present to people on a spreadsheet or a computer or whatever. I present by just literally drawing stuff out.
Yep. Because
I've presented in the stretching area. I've presented in the middle of the gym floor. I've presented walking through like the shopping center. Like, you're just going to get people to ask you.
You need to know your product. You need to know how it breaks down. One thing that we've tried differently at the club with the gym memberships is, people come in and go, how much is your gym membership? Like, what do you guys charge for your gym membership? Yeah, how much per week? And we say it's $840 membership. We allow you to pay it fortnightly at $32 a fortnight. You know what I mean? That's a different way of looking at it. So they're thinking, okay, I'm going to be here for a year, but I just get to break it down and pay it fortnightly.
So you basically, I just tell people, this is the total investment price, obviously. So, for example, what you're in for. How much is the car? It's not $110 a week on repayments over 7 years with interest. It is $19,990 drive away.
Yep.
Like, you're just giving them an idea of what's going on. And it's very easy to make those. If you don't have them, you can just quickly decide to make them, jot them down, and just know them and just stick to them. You can change them in the future, but you've got to know.
Yeah, I agree, Nate. I think that's a great point. That's something that a lot of rookies would benefit from.
I did it. I had it, and then I kind of just didn't stick to it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the fortitude or the balls to kind of be able to ask for money and stuff. And that was
you're right, man. And I think it's the confidence too. It's that imposter syndrome. It's like, oh man, I'm new to the game. I can't ask someone for $3,000 to do PT. Like, I know I'm going to get them the result, but that's $3,000 right now. I'm pinching together a couple of 50-cent coins, hoping to get a cheeseburger with it, But again, that's that young blood, that's that rookie mentality that if we could go back and tap ourselves on the shoulder, you'd be like, you can do this. This is the going rate. Stick with it and go hard.
Yeah, but you also, ladies and gentlemen, don't get what you don't ask for.
100% of the time.
So
that takes me to another one. Whereas advice I give myself is you have to present to everyone, trying to in your head decide what you think
perfect client
to say, and going they didn't really seem that keen, and from the job that they have, doesn't sound like they'd be out. I'm just not even going to bother asking. The amount of times I did that in the early days and probably turned away, obviously helping people first, but obviously turned away income, would have been, I wish I could go back and slap myself in the back of the head So that's definitely one, like what I'll let you carry on from there, Nate, but definitely present to every single person, regardless of their circumstance, regardless of what they've said, present to every single person that you put yourself in front of.
At the very least, you get to sharpen the tool.
Well, that's, yeah, well, you kind of have to. I've already got it there. I've got it selves. I'm just making notes for future podcast, boys.
Good. That was
Who was that?
a little squeak running past.
Your grandkid? No.
Yes. Which grandkid's that? Like, so perfect example, when I started back at Good Life a couple of years back, I'm not there anymore, ladies and gentlemen. When I started back there a couple of years back, let's say I converted 10 out of 10, but we're just going to use that number. For every 10 people I converted, 50% of those people were paid upfront packages. And people were, well, one of the girls was like, how are you able to charge that much? I'm like, well, you're charging that much. I'm just asking for it all at once.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the option and they're just picking it.
Yep.
Like it's just, I'm just asking more than anything.
Mate, our club trainers sell 10 packs at $530 a 10 pack. And they're not split over debits or they're just $530.
Yeah, like you can run it how you want to run it. Like at the end of the day, work out for you, but you've just got to know your numbers overall of what you got people, investing in.
I guess my point to saying that was these are club trainers. These are rookies that if we let it to their own device would be trying to sell $30 half-hour sessions. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
Going on just quickly on that point as well, before people sort of get a bit confused. Like if, let's just say, again, we're just going to use 3,000. Let's just say that Nate's example of, like, there's a difference between like knowing your package price and having to take that option. Like if you know you're not good with money and you know that if you get $3,000 cash in your hand, it's going to be fucking gone in a week and then you're fucked for the next fucking 11 weeks, then like still know your package, still know that that's $3,000 for the 12 weeks, but say I take it in weekly installments, but know that that's your price. Just because you know that that's your price for the package, does that make sense? You don't have to, like, just because you don't want to take the money up front doesn't mean you should know that number.
Sure.
Okay. So, like Nate's obviously good with money, so he can take that $3,000 up front and know that he's not going to fucking spend it tomorrow. Like, there's
I'm actually, I shake my head, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm actually all right.
Yeah, if you're like me, or if you're like, I know there's probably a lot of you out there that if you got that, you'd be like, sweet, what am I buying? What toy am I buying this week? Like, you still need to know that number. You just don't have to accept it in that one lump sum.
Recurring income is different.
There's a difference there. You don't, just because you don't want to take it as one upfront payment doesn't mean you shouldn't know that and present that price in that manner.
100%. You
obviously, just like Minnie said, it's an $840 membership at the gym, but it's paid fortnightly. So it's a $3,000 investment paid weekly, but you still have to know that number.
Bang on. Yeah. You need to know it. If you don't know it, you're winging it.
Yeah, well, and a lot of us are, but for the most part, it'd be good if you had some kind of clarity around what you offered.
Yep.
And
right, so knowing our price packages and how to take that, how to ask for that, stay in the course, finding mentors, business systems. And I'm not talking expensive, I'm not talking detailed, I'm talking real basic. Someone taps you on the shoulder, looking, goes, what's your process? Okay, you've got the client, the money's in your pocket. Now, what's next? Do you follow up with a thank you text or phone call after the session? Do you do a reminder one the next day? What's your process?
This has changed so much for me that I don't even really have one. Richo, you got one? Because I don't really.
Nah,
I send like
per client.
I send like confirm texts and stuff like that just to maybe in the initial stages. But for the most part, most of my guys and girls have locked in times. Like as in like this is their spot, no one else takes it.
Sure.
I've always operated off that bravado unless I've got like a shift worker or a fly in, fly out person that I'm dealing with.
So what about looking at it from a different angle? What about looking at it, they're not so much confirmation of the time, they're just regular contact points with regards to, hey, had a good session today. Here's something to take away with you, or maybe you haven't seen them for the week. You know, instead of confirming the time, other contact points, because as we discussed previously, there's a lot of information out there. They're either going to find it themselves or they can find it from you.
So I never had a specific system of specifically contacting clients at a certain time. That is different from what I call my satellite clients, which are like my virtual guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like using the word online because then I sound like I've got tattoos and a tan, and I definitely don't. So I have a system for my virtual guys with like consistent point of contact, but for my face-to-face people that I see all the time, I don't really have a specific system. I just put it back to the whole D-Bash principle of, if I know they're going through shit, I'll kind of check up on them. Yeah. If I see them around the gym, I'll ask questions. Like, I won't wait till the session time. We're like, oh, well, I got you real quick. Or if I'm seeing them doing something wrong while I'm training, I'll go and fix it. Like, I don't really.
I think that's more a personal thing. Depends on the client. Depends on the person. If it's like exactly like Nate said, that's person to person. If they're the sort of person that needs a bit more loving, like they need those messages after telling they had a good session, then you send them. But it's person to person. I don't think. Well, I don't have an exact system for like every single, because I think sometimes in that sort of thing, like the sales thing, I think if you've got a script or you have a thing like that, I think sometimes it can be seen as a bit insincere, because it's just like, oh, I know I'm getting a text like an hour after we train saying that I did a good job. So I think more at random, like person to person, like personal, if you treat it that way, becomes more sincere. They appreciate it more. And then you get to know them so well. When you're seeing someone once, twice, 3 times a week for 45 minutes, an hour at a time, you get to know them pretty well. You get to know who you need to pay more attention to, and who's like, if you tell them to jump, they'll jump. Do you know what I mean? So
I guess there's also better ways of building.
That's person to person. So,
yeah.
But probably, if we're going back to the advice thing, one of the pieces of advice I would give to my past self, which I relearned again for the 10th time, which now I'm going to take on board, is like we talked about, again, rehashing old stuff, but it's the basics. Keep it simple, stupid. Never stop selling. Never get complacent.
Yeah,
because
boy.
Plenty of times where you get up to the session number that you have in mind and you're like, life's good. And then you lose one week. Then 3 people go on holiday. Then someone gets sick. And you lose. All of a sudden, you thought you were cruising at 40 and you're going, this is the life. And all of a sudden you look and you're like, fuck, I'm only on 25 and I've done nothing about it. So instead of letting it get 15 down, keep selling, keep presenting, keep parceling, not getting complacent, so that if I get to 35, I'm like, well, shit, I'm doing something about it. That's probably something I definitely tell my first self is, don't get complacent. Again, it comes back to don't stop. Well, this one's a little bit different to don't stop putting in the hours, because if you're on 40 sessions, normally doing about 40 hours a week anyway, and like one-on-one time, program writing on the back end, book work on the back end, always doing audio listening anyway. So, but it's more just always make sure I'm selling, I'm trying to get in front of people, I'm trying to continue to build my business.
Nate, that's a fucking great idea. We should do a topic about how to stay busy, and we could probably say things like...
I'll write that down.
We ask for advice. That's one of the things I'd say to myself at the start is, because like I said, starting a business is tough, but when you start up and you start to get to your magic number, it's just my advice to my self at the start is, don't get complacent. Yep. Always keep selling.
Yeah, or listen to Nate on one of the last 2 episodes where I spat fire for an hour about it. Or that one. I love you.
Go back and tell last week's self that one.
Yeah. I think those are some very clear points that hopefully, if you're still listening to this, you actually took something away from it. A lot of the people that come into fitness seem to be either 20s or below. or 30s and above. I don't really seem to find too many like mid-20s people kind of just coming into it for like people are either getting in when they're young or coming in slightly when they're older. Coming in young, you're going to naturally make some of these mistakes anyway. The not give up thing really does apply. And as long as you are trying to be better, you're doing a good job.
Yeah. That's the big one. As long as you're trying to be better.
Yeah, yeah, really, as long as you're trying to give it a red hot crack, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah. And again, the best part about this sort of stuff is it's what we're banging on about week after week, isn't it? You know, the effort's got to be there. The intention, the motivation to want to be better has to be there. Keep yourself accountable doing shit that does work. And that's where it can come from us or it can come from a mentor, people that have succeeded in doing what you're setting out to do in the first place, understanding that not everyone's going to make it. So as Nate said earlier, whether you've made it because you put in that time and effort or because you just did a little more than the last person. Like the joke says, if a lion's running fast, a lion's chasing you, you just got to be faster than the next guy, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Nate.
Sorry, Nate. All right, so listen.
When's the last time you ran, Nate?
This afternoon up the stairs. I tore a groin.
I just want to a bit of advice. I wouldn't say that I'd give to myself starting back then because 10 years ago things were very different. Advice that I would give to myself if I was starting in this day and age, which is the information age and the technology age, is like Nate talked about with mentors for business. Like there's so much information out there and everyone thinks they are the expert now. Like we talked about in the earlier episodes, figure out what you want to specialize in. Pick 2 or 3 people that specialize in what you want to be good at and only learn from them at the start. Because if you listen to, because we're talking about training here as well, because at the end of the day, you've got to be good at what you do.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously you've got to be trying to get better at the training and all that sort of thing. So pick 2 or 3 people whose methods that you like, who you see get results to, that you want to emulate, and learn from 2 or 3 people, because you are going to get 3,000 experts tell you how that's wrong and how they're right. And it will confuse the fuck out of you. And then you will just jump from program to program to try, figure out 2 or 3 people and only learn from them at the start, because in that age of information, it will get very fucking confusing. And you'll start jumping around and you won't have any structure, you won't have any systems, and you won't figure out how you want to program things, because too many people are going to get in your ears and you're going to be jumping from one thing to the other and trying the next fucking big thing that's hit Instagram for that fucking week. So find 2 or 3 people that you believe in and that you want to emulate, and stick to trying to learn from them and emulate their style of training or that style of business or whatever first. So like I said, with like what Nate said, but in terms of a mentor, but in terms of research and learning as well. Because if you try and learn from too many different people, the thing about science and research is that the information is there, but the same information can be interpreted by 100 people in 100 different ways.
Yep.
So it's the same information, it's just interpreted differently. So pick the 2 or 3 people that you want to emulate and you want to follow and run with that path. Otherwise, you'll confuse the fuck out of yourself, and then you will just be fucking lost in space and you won't be good at what you do because you're getting confused.
And you probably will find those people have their own dedicated websites, blogs, YouTube channels. If all they have is Facebook, and that's where all their conversation, doesn't necessarily in 2018 discount them, but I found in the kind of people I follow and the education I got, obviously it's because it was before Facebook, Nate, but they don't just rely on one platform to get their information out there.
Yeah.
No, that's fucking, yeah. Don't ever take social media advice from me. I'm not going to even contribute.
Oh, I'm talking about even strength coaches.
Who are you going to pick to learn from? Yeah, look,
again,
to picking who you want to emulate and who you want to learn from. But the guys that I wanted to follow, like Joe DeFranco and Louis Simmons, they've got websites, they've written books, they've got DVDs.
They've got the odd forum websites.
They've got, do you know what I mean? Like they actually have credibility behind them. And again, figure out what you want to specialize in, find the people that you want to emulate and learn from them. Because I guarantee it's probably not going to be the guy at your local gym. It's probably going to be these guys.
And it's like West Side and DeFranco.
And from that, you start your own, you start to put your own spin on that, but it's your own spin of like that very pretty much that information. It's not fucking a bit of this and 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 just some bullshit program. And it's not this some Instagram thing where you're doing an overhead snatch backflip on a Bosu ball with one leg for Instagram fucking fame. Yeah. Like, fuck that shit. Learn proper training.
And look, if the guy you're emulating or the program style you're emulating is on social media and VHS cassette, they've stood the test of time. Westside, DeFranco, I'm thinking about you guys. Hey?
What's VHS mean?
You know what VHS is. Don't play silly.
I don't know what VHS is, Mooney. You got to explain
You would have put that cassette in to watch a video.
Fucking
kids.
Jesus.
What are you, 16, 17?
Are we? Is that us good, I reckon?
I think it is, guys. We're gonna change it up a bit on the next episode. We're gonna launch a bit of a Q&A. Okay, for those young pups, that's question and answers. Nate?
I know how to say what Q&A is, mate. I'm not fucking that young.
So if you're watching this and you've got some questions that maybe we've covered, but you want a bit more clarity on it, maybe we haven't touched on it yet. Maybe it's just something that's bouncing around in your skull and you want to get it out. You can reach us. Again, at the end of this, there's always our links to our Instagram. So you can DM us on there. As a central spot, you can always hit us up at info@51fit.com.au and I can share that with the boys. You can comment below the YouTube. We had a guy on the last episode provide us a bit of feedback, which was great. And we're going to be asking around our locals too. We're going to be asking our colleagues and the PTs around us, my students, and we'll try and compile a bunch of question and answers for you guys.
So again, like what we do this, guys. We do this for you guys. So like we want to know what you want to know. We want to help you get the best out of. We want to help you be the best PT you can be. So any questions that you have, and like why, obviously there's a reason why you're listening to us. So ask a specific question so we can give you the answers that you're looking for instead of just hoping that we're going to talk about it. Ask what you want to know.
Yep. Spend the time on it.
Perfect.
You good, Nate?
Oh, I'm golden. Fired up. Too fired up for bedtime. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m., boys.
All right, team. Good job. Thanks for that. Episode 7's a wrap, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right, boys. See you next week.
Peace.